So, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa. So, good question. Why do we have suffering? I think the question we need to ask before that is, what is suffering? What is suffering? Is loving someone suffering? Is craving a chocolate suffering? Is loss of a friend suffering? Is anxiety suffering? Is depression suffering? What do you mean by suffering? Do we even know what is not right for us? You ask the question, why do we suffer? And flippantly, I said, because we deserve it. And then the next question was, well, I don't want to do anything that gives rise to this. Yeah, but we know existence tells us, plant an orange pip, you're going to get an orange tree. Not an apple, not a grape, not a pineapple, but an orange. So whatever outcomes we are experiencing must be as a result of something we've done. So for example, I put my hand in the fire, I burn myself, and afterwards I suffer the consequences of pain. Seed, fruit. Yeah, whatever you plant is what you get. So the first question is, what is suffering? Anyone want to give me an answer to that? You should be able to just go on. But obviously, you haven't been working hard enough. Okay, so suffering. First question is, what is suffering? Second question is, what causes suffering? And what's the difference between suffering and pain? Is having a headache suffering? Or is it pain? Language matters. Language matters. We need to understand what we mean. So, you want to go out for an interview and you're anxious. Are you ill? Is this a dysfunction? Or is this part of the process? So, two worldviews, two ways of looking at life, right? This worldview on the right-hand side that I'm going to describe is on the way out. It's old-fashioned, it's colonial, very, very egocentric, and it's dying right in front of us. We're seeing it now. And there's another worldview. This worldview says you're a biological machine. You break down and we fix you with things. We put things into you, we cut you up, we give you drugs. That's this worldview. This worldview says everything's an accident. There's something called a Big Bang that took place. No one can explain to you when. No one can explain to you what was there before the Big Bang. Yet we just expect to accept this particular idea that the whole thing just came to be like that, and it's an accident. That you, me, and all of us is an accident, and our life is purposeless. If I asked you, what is the purpose of your life? Can you tell me? The purpose of a flower may be to attract the bee or the bird. What's your purpose? Reductionist worldview. Reductionist worldview. You're purposeless. Your life means nothing. Which is why we can slaughter people by the hundreds of thousands and not a bat an eyelid. Not a problem. People can be drowning in water. Not a problem. Kids stabbing each other. Not a problem. We'll talk about it. You've got to ask yourself the question, which worldview is the right worldview? And the only way to know a word, if you want to test it, are three questions. Question number one, is it logical? Is it logical that everything came to be like that? Because I haven't seen it happen before. Is it logical? Answer is no. But it could be. Is it experiential? Have I witnessed it? No. Is it consistent that it's happening all the time? It's not just one virgin birth. No. So you know the reductionist worldview is not correct. Now, this worldview tells you that your mind and your body are disconnected. In fact, this worldview doesn't even know what the mind is. They're still trying to work out what the brain is. And they reckon the brain, mind kind of thing overlap, mind, bit of cognition, bit of thought, a bit of memory. But nothing more than that. This worldview, very different. This worldview says you are a happening. Right this moment, you've got a 700 trillion cells in your body or whatever. Each one is now performing about 100,000 different reactions. Which part of that do you have control over? The breath comes in and out. Which part of that do you have a control over? When you were gestating in your mother, which part of that did you have a control over? In fact, what did you do in order to bring yourself here? What did you do? Did you go to someone and say, oh, I'd love to take birth around, I don't know, 19 something or another. We've got the internet. Life is good. We've got McDonald's. We don't have to go to work. We don't have to till the soil. Yeah, and all that stuff. No. No, you're a byproduct. You're a byproduct of a happening. Like your parents were, like their parents were, and like the future. Like everything else is. It's a happening. And this happening is an ocean. On this ocean are infinite waves, and each one of you and me and everything else is a wave on this ocean. This ocean is known as consciousness. Now, even if I use that word consciousness, doesn't reflect what I mean because I've had to anglicize it. You can only know consciousness by being conscious. So two worldviews, right? We've described that. This worldview says the reason you're firstly, it actually doesn't know quite what suffering is. So what it does is it medicalizes human emotion. It first has to educate you on what an illness is. Anxiety is an illness. For example, cholesterol levels, 1990s. 300 was the mark which was acceptable. Now 190. Cholesterol vital for brain function. Who made that between 300 to 190? Who made the change? And you realize, hold on a second, maybe there's something else going on here. Maybe this reductionist world model doesn't quite understand a number of things to do with human health. So, going back to the first question, this is just a context, right? So everything is connected, interconnected. Your mind is connected. Your mind and brain are two different things. Your mind, you're not born with a mind. Your mind is created through your education, through your language, through your memories, through your schooling, vagara, until you create an identity. This identity is then called your egoic identity. Okay, we call it personality to give it a nice name, character, but it's really an ego trip, right? So it's an ego trip. Now, this thing is very reactive. It's very reactive. And there are 5 sources of suffering. First, ignorance. You actually don't know how this works. So we're ignorant. There's no discipline. There's no discipline. There's no sitting together, sitting with yourself and how the mind is working, what the mind is, because there's no education. So even mindfulness now is an elastoplast. Who's ever used, do you reckon, would actually thought, yeah, I'll spend like 30 years to do this so I can get rid of stress or anxiety? No, much deeper, much deeper. So, first, this egoic self is reactive. So, all the stimulus you get. So, if I, for example, said to you, go on, get angry, you'll find it's, well, a bit difficult. But if I started insulting you, wouldn't take long, would it? Why? Because I poked this egoic self. Now, because it's reactive, as a result, as a result of its reactivity, it creates an emotion. Okay. Now there are only, well, actually there's three, but I'll work with two. There is duk and there is sok. Duk means suffering. Sukh means absence of suffering. We call it pleasure and pain, but actually it's duk is suffering and sukh is absence of suffering. Duk is internal, it's psychological. Sitting here worrying about something is duk. For example, you have a headache, but sitting here thinking, oh my God, am I having a stroke? That bit is duk. The headache is actual physical pain. And we have to separate the two. We have to separate the two. So, duk is when we want something to be different than what it is. Duk is wanting things to be different. The more you want things to be different, the greater your suffering is. So, through this worldview, the ontological worldview, the consciousness worldview, they suggest, hold on a second, rather than putting SSRIs in you to reduce your anxiety or any of that stuff, why not teach you how to sit in a way that you begin to notice what the mind is doing? So when you're going to do your meditation, you will realize very quickly that it's difficult to hold your focus because the mind runs off. And then you bring it back, runs off, bring it back, runs off, bring it back. That running off is normally a story. What am I going to do for dinner? Have I got to pay the bills? Da, 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 da. It's a story. That story is either future orientated or past orientated. That's all the mind does. The mind replays the same stories either at the back, past, or the future. Either you're a victim or you're a hero. That's it. It doesn't know anything else. And whatever nonsense you give it, it works with it. So if I give you a religion that says, I don't know, only grey people are acceptable and anyone who's not is not acceptable, that mind takes that on as a belief. And as it, because it holds on to that belief, it then suffers. This is what becomes our egoic self, right? So the question was, why do we suffer? The question should be, what creates unregulated when it's in a story? So I can sit here and think, oh my God, I'm going to lose my job tomorrow. What am I going to do? Where will I pay the mortgage for? And I create an anxiety. So if we become aware of what the mind is doing, we become aware of the story it's telling itself, and then you believe that story. That's the other thing. You believe that story, then you become that story. Future stories will always give you fear, anxiety, but also hope. All hope comes with fear because it may not be fulfilled. Past stories will always give you depression, depending on how much you go there, because it's rumination. Anger. Why couldn't I have done it like this? Why did this happen? Anger. So these emotions, anger, craving, काम क्रोध लोभ मोह अहंकार, right? Attachment, All of these, there's five of them, are the source of your suffering. So, in order to address suffering, no one else can take your suffering away from you. No one can. Only you can. Only you can. And how do you do it? You begin to become disciplined by allowing yourself the time and the commitment to train yourself to come out of these stories. The mind is a beautiful thing, but at the moment, it's your master. You are not in control of it. Because if you were in control of it, then you know anxiety is a natural feedback mechanism that tells you something needs to be addressed. Once you address it, anxiety goes. Let's go even further than that. It's what Push said. It doesn't just begin here. You're a recycling. All of you, all of me, every one of us. Ask yourself, why do you have the parents you have? Why are you the gender you are? Why the country? Why the location? Why the people? Why the dog? Why the cat? Why this? It's because we create attachments. Whatever you create attachments to will always bring the mind to it. So your attachment at the last moment of your life will determine the next moment. If you want to test this out, go to bed, try and hold one kind of dominant thought in your mind. I don't know. Think about EastEnders for 2 minutes or whatever, just anything, any nonsense for 2 minutes. I guarantee you, when you wake up, you will pick up the same thought. Same thing happens as you're dying. Same thing happens. That process then creates the next conditions. So, where does suffering begin with? Suffering begins because it's a long process. But you've always got the opportunity to step out of it now. Now. Not tomorrow, but now. Simply by learning to detach yourself from that which does the attaching, which is your mental egoic self. Does that make sense? And why do you have dukh? Why do you suffer? So you wake up. So you wake up to your nonsense. It's only when you get to the point of saying, I need to do something about this, that you'll actually do something about it. So dukh daru, it is your medicine. Suffering is your medicine when your lifestyle becomes your disease. So don't push it away. See it as that which wakes you up. Change your attitude to suffering, and suffering changes. Make sense? Have I addressed it enough? Okay. Shall we begin with our meditation? All right. So, usually we always begin with our posture. So, if you can adjust your posture, pull your back up. Close your eyes. And bring your focus to your eyes so you notice they are in fact closed. Notice that the back is straight and upright. And then if you just allow your shoulders to be pulled back ever so slightly so your chest feels a bit open. And if you tuck your chin in a little bit so the neck stretches a little bit. And as you draw your breath in, bring your focus to your body and notice if there's any discomfort in the body. So you can adjust your posture in order to make sure you're comfortable. Upright, sitting with a little bit of confidence within yourself. Okay. So the first step is intention, attention, and attitude. So intention, what is it that you're going to do? Set your intention. So your intention at this moment is simply to become present to what's going on with you. Not to try and get into a state, but just to notice what is actually happening with me. Attention. How are you going to find this out? Well, you're going to focus on things that are happening in the present moment. And the things that are happening in the present moment are one, you can only breathe in the present moment. Notice that. You can only hear something in the present moment. And thirdly, you can only sense sensations in the present moment. Pain can only be experienced in the present moment. So imagine there's a hula hoop above your head. As this hoop comes down, it's going to scan your body for sensations. So allow this hoop to move down from the top of your head, gently coming down like a curtain of light, lighting up your body for sensations. And the sensations you want to look for are pain, ache, tightness, itch, anything that draws your focus all the way down. And if you find that there is a pain, an ache, a tightness, or anything that draws your focus, notice where it is. On your next breath in, you're going to bring your focus to the seat you're on and begin to notice how well you held in place. The fact that you can allow yourself to relax, to let go, and you're still going to be held in place. And the ground beneath you, solid, firm, and holds you. Notice there are sensations where the chair or the seat makes contact with your body. Bring your focus to those sensations. You don't need to define them, you simply need to become aware. And then from those sensations, we move our focus upwards so we begin to notice our hips. And then from our hips, we allow our awareness to drift down our thighs, a very gradual body scan, looking for sensations. And from our knees, we allow our awareness to move down, scanning the back of your legs. Scanning the front of your legs. And then notice your feet. And then moving to the soles of your feet. And here you want to hold your focus here for a short while if you can. Next breath in, you bring your focus back to the seat you're in. And again, you notice how firm, how solid, and how supported the seat holds you. And then from this lower back, you gently move your focus to your middle back, scanning that lower part of the back. And then from our middle back, we move towards our shoulder blades, scanning the upper part of our back. Remember, you're looking for sensations, nothing more. When you get to your shoulders, See if you can soften them. And then gently moving this awareness from your shoulders to your elbows, from your elbows to your wrists. And then once you get to your palms, hold your focus at the palms of your hands. Moving to your fingers. On the next breath in, you're going to bring your focus towards your eyes. And as you bring your focus to your eyes, notice that you have awareness. Awareness of the back of your eyelids. Perhaps awareness of darkness. Recognize the awareness for what it is. Notice that this awareness does not change. Can't be switched off. And if a thought comes, it comes within the container of your awareness. On your next breath out, you allow your eyes to soften, and then bringing your focus towards your mouth. Notice your lips. Notice the upper lip. Notice your lower lip. And then gently move your focus within your mouth. Noticing the sensations on the roof of your mouth. On the inside cheeks. And then allow your tongue to soften. Allow your jaw to soften. And then as you breathe out, you allow your face to soften. Next breath in, once again becoming aware of your whole body as best as you can. Notice if there's anything that draws your focus. A pain, a tightness, an itch. Gently bring your focus beneath your nose and begin to watch your breath. So your commitment to yourself is to hold your focus beneath your nose and simply to allow the breath to breathe by itself, and you're watching it. You notice the in-breath moving in and you notice the out-breath moving out. Stay with your breath. If you find you've been distracted by my voice or you've started thinking, gently, firmly come back to your breath. Notice the in-breath has a start and an end. The out-breath has a start and an end, as best as you can. Stay with your breath. Stay with your breath. On your next breath in, you're going to bring your focus to your inner space. This is how you're feeling and what you may be thinking. Are you able to focus or do you feel distracted? Is there something dominant on your mind at the moment? What's your channel at the moment, if there is one? And now gently bring your focus to your chest. And begin to notice the movement of your chest in rhythm with your breath. Your focus is on your chest. Breath comes in, you notice the chest expands. And as the chest relaxes, the breath goes out. Hold your focus on your chest as best as you can. Stay with your chest. Notice the slight, subtle sensations around your ribs as the breath moves in and the breath moves out. See if you can notice them. The changing sensations around your ribs as the breath moves in, as the breath moves out. And now, as best as you can, see if you can take your focus deeper into yourself, where your heart is, deep in yourself. Holding your focus there as best as you can, waiting, waiting to notice how you're actually feeling right now. Do you feel settled? Do you feel peaceful? Or do you feel unsettled, agitated? Are you in a state of suffering? Or is there an absence of suffering? Calmness, peace, contentment? Or do you feel anxious? Notice how you feel in the moment of now. On your next breath out, open your focus to all the sounds around you and simply begin to listen. not listening to anything in particular, not looking for any sound, simply open. Allowing the sounds to come to you. When you're ready, bring your focus once again beneath your nose and begin to watch your breath again. Notice the in breath coming in, notice the out breath going out. Notice the in breath has a start and an end, and the out breath has a start and an end. And to help us get deeper into the moment, follow your out breath all the way till the end. Notice when it finishes. Notice how the breath feels now. Does it feel light or does it feel heavy? Does your breath flow fast or does it feel slow? And now, as best as you can, bring your focus to the sound of your breath. See if you can listen to the breath as it moves in, as it moves out. Remember, you're listening to the breath. Stay with your breath, listening to the in breath as it moves in, listening to the out breath as it moves out. And once again, on your next breath out, opening your focus to all the sounds around you, including the sound of your breath. Simply listening. See if we can follow the bell into the silence. Gently bring your focus beneath your nose, sitting with your breath in silence. On your next breath out, expand your awareness to include your whole body once again, becoming aware of your body as best as you can. Notice if there's any discomfort anywhere. Gently bring your focus back to the seat you're on. Notice that you still held in place. Sensations where the seat makes contact with your body. And then from those sensations, we become aware of our hips, allowing our awareness back into our body, moving down our thighs towards our knees. Take your time. And then from your knees, you move down towards your ankles, scanning the back and the front of your legs. Again, take your time, allowing your awareness to embody itself. From our ankles, we notice the feet. And then once again, moving to the soles of your feet. And hold your focus there again. Coming back to your seat, notice the back is straight and upright. Your shoulders, your arms, your hands, comfortable. Your eyes are still closed, your mouth is still closed, and your face is relaxed. Coming back to your breath. Now, as the breath moves in, you can sense your body. As the breath moves out, you can sense your body. Breathing in, you calm. Breathing out, you calm. Breathing in, you're at peace. Breathing out, you're at peace. Notice how you feel within yourself. If you feel peaceful, focus on the peace. If you feel silent, focus on the silence. In a while, you will hear the sound of another bell. Use this bell to draw some slow, deep breaths in, and in your own good time, gently opening your eyes. Take your time.